Yo. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you know what time it is. You know what this means. You hear my voice. You're press played on this show, so you know what it is. It is show off season, and it's your host. It's this guy. It's me. It's DOOGIFRANCHISE. Yes, sirree. It's me, Doogie Franchise, and I am back. But I'm not alone. I'm not by myself. I'm not solo. Because, you know, I can't do a show by myself. I mean, I can, but I don't want to. I'm lazy. I need people to bounce off of. So I got some folks here with me. I got a friend, an amigo, someone y'all already know. He's usually on the show. We try to get him to sing, but he don't want to.
I sing all the fucking time. You know what?
We have.
This is Ice Raheem. How y'all doing? Good to see you. How y'all feeling?
AKA.
That nigga with the pretty ass voice. Pretty ass voice. Pretty ass voice.
You are learning. You are learning.
I fucking hate you.
What? You are learning. But we're not alone today. We got a special guest. Another friend. Another amigo, compadre, a man with a story who, it's funny because, you know, we have a lot of mutual friends, and that's how we became friends.
Yes, sir.
It was just like, you knew this guy? Yeah, I know him too. It was like, it's just a web of friendships. That's what it was. He's a vocalist, guitarist, composer, founder and executive director of Internal Creations. Yeah, I really went down those details. I call him Hassel, but you people will call him Hassel.
So how about you get on the mic and introduce yourself real quick, man?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah, well, you know, I got many nicknames, like I said before. So my name is too difficult to spell and to remember. So whatever, have at it. I don't care anymore. But yeah, as Dwayne said, thank you very much for having me on the show, guys. I appreciate it. And my name is Hassel Montez. And yeah, I do play guitar. I attempt to sing. And I am the founder and executive director of a nonprofit named Internal Creations, an organization built to develop leadership, self-sufficiency, and life skills through learning the classical guitar.
Time out. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that, man. Come on, son. This is the foreplay. You got to take it easy. Take it easy. We're going to ease it.
All right. You said introduce myself, so I was just introducing what the hell I do.
I got you. Nah, man.
Don't ever say this is the foreplay again in your life, right? Don't ever say that around us again.
I don't care. I don't care. I describe my podcast as an experience. Okay?
See, I'm not a romantic type, so I don't know. I don't do foreplay like that.
Dang.
I go straight to the point. It's not necessarily a good thing.
See, we are opening up strong. This is great. This is great. I'm glad you're on the show because you've been mentioned on 2 other episodes leading up to your episode, which is funny.
Really?
Because Rafi's episode, we mentioned you. Hey, Hassel, come on. And C-Spin, Christian's episode, we mentioned you again. Like,
that's right,
yeah,
that's right.
I was like, we're going to put it into existence on when we want people to come on the show, so we'll say their names a lot.
Nah, man, that happened. Those are my dudes right there, man. Our mutual dudes, too, you know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So,
okay. My first question to, you know, as you tell your story is, what led you into music and choosing the guitar of all instruments?
That's a funny one. Well, it's funny because I first hated guitar. I hated music and everything that had to do with it because I was forced into it by my mother in her attempt to have me not be in the streets when I was like 11, 12 years old. And so she put me in a group guitar class in Harlem in Riverbank State Park, if you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to live around there.
And yeah, 145. And yeah, so I was in there, and then that's actually how I met Rafi. I met him through that guitar class because we didn't do a goddamn thing. All we did was swing the guitars around at each other because we didn't care. And then we literally
I was just sword fighting with guitars.
Sword fighting with the guitars, man. Just grabbing it by the neck and swinging it like lightsabers, bro. And yeah, it was pretty wild. And you know, the instructors that we had were never consistent or stable. You know, the first guy that we had, he showed up day one. He was like, "Hey guys, this is a guitar," and then disappeared.
You went missing.
Yeah, and then the next guy that we had, it turns out, you know, he was just a cokehead, and he was
Jesus.
there. Yeah, it was a bunch of crazy stuff. So of course the inconsistencies and, you know, music not being a thing, guitar not being a cool thing at the time, you know, during our youth and upbringing, I didn't like it. And then I heard the opening of the song Kryptonite by Three Doors Down actually on the radio because it was playing a lot during that time. And then I remember I was like, oh, I like this. Oh, wait, shit, that has a guitar. Wait a minute, I have a guitar. It's just collecting dust. So I just tried to figure out one note. And eventually I figured out this note right here. And I was like, oh, crap, I got it. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I was like, all right, let me see if I can go back. And then by that point, we had an instructor named Alonso called Billy. And he was pretty much consistent throughout. And he's the one that taught me like all the basics of guitar, the chords, and all that type of stuff. And yeah, and then from then on, that's when the guitar became a part of my life. And then, you know, there's a whole plethora of things of what led me to what. But in a nutshell, long-winded nutshell, that's what got me into guitar. Just that song and then all the greats afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you play any other instruments?
I dabble in other instruments because when I was in college, I had to learn how to play multiple instruments. So I had to learn how to play piano. I had to learn how to play violin. Well, violin I started in high school because they didn't have a guitar program. But that's a whole nother story. And so, yeah, like, you know, brass instruments, you know, trombone. I don't like brass instruments at all. Saxophone. I actually started off on saxophone, alto saxophone before guitar, actually. Because of my
They know that one. That's new.
yeah.
That's
So
new.
yeah, a lot of people don't know that one. When I was in 5th grade, you know, they have you choose music or whatever, and like band, and I was doing alto saxophone at that time, and I did that for about 4 years. 4 years, yeah, 4.
Were you good at the saxophone?
I was okay. I wouldn't say I'm like crazy, like you would, you know, see some dudes like really killing it out there, but you know, for a middle school kid, I was okay.
Would you be able to play Wham?
No.
Okay.
What attracted you to the alto sax? Like, did you have your option of instruments, or did you just say, you know what, F it, I'm just gonna go with the sax?
I'm just gonna go with the sax.
Okay.
Yeah, because you know they had the trumpets, they had all the clarinets and all that, and I just so happened to end up with the saxophone in my hands, and that's it.
Okay. Do you have any musical influences that, you know, inspire you?
Too many.
I mean, hey man, tell me.
Of course. Well, I get inspired by different genres for different types of compositions that I'm thinking of. You know.
Okay.
So if we're talking like the rock and roll thing, obviously, you know, you have like if we're talking specifically guitar, you have, you know, guys like John Sykes, Chris Broderick, you know, Jeff Loomis. You have the greats, obviously, you know, Jimmy Page, you know, and so many others. There's just too many to freaking list. I can go on for hours about that. But then when it comes to vocals, then that's a mix between like Nat King Cole for the low ends of the voices. I love Chris Cornell. That's my dude. Like I was, like, I hate that I'm gonna put this out there, but if I was if I was gay, I would go for Chris Cornell as a partner because of how amazing he was. And his voice is just something else, bro. I don't get it. So, yeah, and then, you know, you got guys like Miles Kennedy. So many great voices out there, but those are just to name a few that are off the top of the dome. You talk about classical guitar, then you have, you know, composers like Agustin Barrios Mangoré. You have performers like Andres Segovia that people, you know, really gravitate to. You know, Grisha Goryachev for the flamenco stuff. Just, again, too many, but just to name a few. And then if you're coming down to like the Latino stuff, you know, I love all the oldies. I love like what we're working on right now with Jay Castro is like a lot of Latin urban stuff. Mm-hmm. So, you know, listening to things like the Bad Bunny productions, you know, things of, you know, J Balvin, you know, and all those cats that work in that world right now, like the production, like I listen to a lot of producers and how they create their beats, and they're so musical, you know, a lot of them are musical, and that's what inspires me to do different things, and usually kind of makes me blend things together. So I'm just all over the place, kind of.
Okay, cool. No. I'm just like, I was like, oh, he named a lot. That's good. I mean, you're a multitude of different genres that you love, so I get it.
I love it. Yeah.
You do IG lives where you're just practicing chords and stuff,
mm-hmm.
And I was like, it's like, shit. I remember like that's how I sent him like the last one you did, and I was there just
Right,
Just
right,
talking.
yeah. You're talking me through it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like, yo, I sent it to him. Like, yo, get on now. I don't care what you're doing. Check out my boy.
I appreciate that, man.
So,
I appreciate that support a lot.
yeah,
man. It means a lot.
I guess it's show off season, baby. You showing off during that season. You gotta like.
My God, you're making me sweat, man.
I'm good. What is it? So, you were a part. You're in a band. You have a band.
Yes. Yeah.
Please tell us about it. Name drop. Let's name drop.
All right. So the band that I formed is what I consider a hard rock heavy metal fusion band. But again, I can't put a label on it. It is what it is. It's called Salvia, and Salvia. The reason why I called it Salvia was because if anybody knows what Salvia is and what it does, is that it takes you on a wild ride and you never know what to expect. Right, and the high lasts for about like 20 seconds or some shit like that, or like very short amount of time, and it's just a crazy hallucinogenic journey that it takes you on. So with our music, the common thread is that it's heavy, it's that it's rock and roll, but you never know what kind of influence is going to be thrown in there. So that's the fusion part, So we throw in a lot of Latin shit, we throw in a lot of we throw some jazz in there, hip hop. We throw everything you could think of. We try to blend it in there, and make sure it works too. We don't want it to sound just like a crazy amount of sounds going on. We want it to have a common thread, and each song takes you on a different ride. So one of the biggest things that I always wanted to do and achieve was that you can listen to a record throughout and not get bored of it. Because you know how there's some records that some albums that you get that you listen to one song, you're like, oh, this is dope, and the next song kind of sounds the same as the first, and it kind of does that type of thing. Like, no, I want every single song to have its individual identity, but that still flows within the record itself. So not necessarily a concept album, but in terms of like the keys that we're using, the lyrics that we're using, the tone of the amps, the tone of the guitars, all that stuff. I just want it to flow, and for that, when you buy a record, you're buying it for all the songs, not just one.
Gotcha.
So that's what I'm trying to achieve there.
You wanted to ask something? Yeah, because it looked like you wanted to ask something.
Your guitar. What did you name her?
Oh, this one, honestly, like this one doesn't have a name.
Really?
Yeah, this one doesn't have it. My electrics all have names except her. I feel bad about that, but I don't know. I haven't named this one yet.
Won't you tell about? Won't you just speak a little bit on the guitar? Like, what kind of guitar is it? Like paint the picture.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's a Fender acoustic electric. I mean, I don't know what it is. I didn't bother to look when I was buying it. It's just I literally just sat down and just tried different guitars, and this one is the one that spoke to me because of the fact that it's a little bit thicker than most, but it's not humongous, But
Yeah.
it is still. I'm a big fan of low ends, of like bass. So even though I'm a guitarist, I always listen to bass because I feel like that's the driving force of anything really in music, And I always appreciate like basses in bands because they're like the ambassador between the melodies and the rhythm, they're listening to both sides and they're gluing everybody together, they're the piece that holds everything together. And so with this guitar, it really just has it just has a beautiful balance of low end and treble, so that way it fits my voice well and it just resonates when I play it. If I feel the vibration in my body, and it just, I don't know, it just spoke to me and I became one with it, Mm-hmm. So that's the only reason why I went for it out of all the other guitars. And it was not even that bad. It was like $400 and something.
I'm not gonna lie, that was super poetic.
I was like, wait, what are you talking about?
That was poetic.
Ah,
Like, okay, that was dope.
it resonates in my balls.
And you ruined it.
Party pooper.
Tell. All right. Internal creations.
Yes.
Now, let's go into high details and tell us about it. Like, how'd you come up with it? What inspired the name? And some of the cool stuff you've done. 'Cause I know some of it, but I want you to tell.
Right. Well, I appreciate that, man, and I appreciate you guys talking, going in depth into my world. Like this is like the most I've talked about, like the different parts of my life, and so Internal Creations, as I was saying earlier in the podcast, it's a arts nonprofit that I built to develop leadership, self-sufficiency, and life skills through learning the classical guitar. Now, the reason why I chose classical guitar was because that actually was the turning point of what changed my world and made me the man that I am today, and really gave me the discipline to to push through life in a what's the word I'm looking for? In a cognitive manner. I may be at a loss of words, and I may be using words incorrectly, just so you know. So just whatever.
Got you.
I don't give a shit if anybody judges me. So
It's my show. Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody say? Anybody
it.
got a problem?
That's all right, man. But anyway, so whatever. It just gave me a direction into how to approach life, because what happened was, going back to the story of the guitar, right? When I was in high school, the reason why I took the violin was because they didn't have a guitar program there. And so I was just pretty much self-teaching myself, all the rock and roll shit that I was learning. And, I grew an appreciation for orchestral music in high school because I was playing as part of the orchestras. I was terrible. I barely played. All I did was just sat there, pretend to play, and listen to everybody else. And then, during that time, I was a terrible student. I was never in school. I would cut class. I would just not, I don't know how the hell I got through high school, honestly. But then came senior year of high school, and then I remember my orchestra teacher saying, "So what are you trying to do?" I'm like, "Well, I want to go to college for guitar." And he's like, "Well, there's no rock and roll guitar. There's no rock and roll colleges out there." And I'm just like, "Oh, goddamn. What do you mean?" And he's like, "Well, you can go to Berkeley, but it's expensive, and this and this and that." I don't know what the hell any of this was because nobody taught me anything. Nobody guided me through this. And so I was just like, well, then I'm kind of screwed. So, so then at that point, he's like, "Oh, there's this thing called classical guitar." And I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And so I went back to my instructor, Alonso, from Riverbank State Park.
Got you.
Yeah, and I was like, "Hey, man, do you know anything about this classical guitar thing?" He was like, He's like, "I know a little bit, and I could teach you what I know." And he did. He taught me how to read the chords on the sheet music and all this stuff. And so, I didn't have a nylon string acoustic at that time. And, just to kind of speed up the story a little bit, because this is a long one.
Details, man.
All right, cool.
We want to hear your story. It's an experience. It's a movie right now. This is a movie right now.
Word. All right, bet. So, anyway, so I started learning. I learned a little bit, and then I started applying to colleges with my ex-girlfriend at the time. And then I ended up going auditioning for CW Post in Long Island. Now, when I was there auditioning, I remember going in there, and I had my BC Rich Mockingbird. It was like a heavy metal guitar, like all weirdly shaped, and a little amp and everything. And then all the other students there had their nice, classical guitar gig bags, their sheet music, their footrests, and all this stuff. And they looked at me, and they were like, "What are you here for?" And I'm like, "I'm here to audition." Here I am with a cheesy smile, like, "Hey, I'm here to audition for the guitar." And they're like, "Are you sure? It doesn't look like you're in the right place." And I was just like, whoa. So I felt like
Wow, judgy.
Yeah. So I was a bit very outcasted there.
Wow, judgy.
And when I went to audition, I remember the professor that was auditioning, he looked at me, he was very taken back, like, what are you doing here? Like, what is this? And I'm just like, this is my guitar, this is what I have. And so I plugged in my little amp. He was like, "Okay, plug in." And then I played Bach's Beret in E minor, this one that you probably know,
Yeah.
that one. But I played it terribly on an electric guitar. And so at that point, he was just like, "Okay," I did the audition, and somehow I got in. I got into the school.
Because you were different. That's I'm sitting there I'm like, can you play that again? Because I'm imagining it. Like, can you? That sounds like
you
a
just
video.
you just hear the screech of the metal guitar, like.
That's sick.
Yeah, but I wasn't doing all that though. I was trying to be true to the actual.
But the thing about it is they're he's different. It's risky. That's he took an old a classic song and modernized it in a way where we didn't even think about it. So someone probably 3 other people probably walked in, played that same thing, and they were like,
You're the only one that they remembered.
Exactly. That's like a
guess,
hard
yeah.
act to follow.
Dude, I guess so, man. I wasn't thinking about it at the time. I was just like, oh shit, I fucked up. But and it's crazy. So I got into the school, and then I was just, again, because I was not a good student in school whatsoever. I was very undisciplined when it came to academia and even guitar, because I didn't know how to practice. I just did what I did, and that's it. There was no there was no goals for my practicing, for my progression on the instrument. Mm-hmm. And so the professor taught me a little bit more, but it wasn't as crazy. And I got booted off the guitar ensemble in the college because I was not showing up to the rehearsals, and I was just being an ass. Yeah. And so the school was very expensive because it was a private school. Again, I didn't know, because no counselor ever told me, hey, this is how things work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like all of us here, so we're inner city kids. And when we don't have the guidance from the adults, from our parents or anything like that, from anybody who's, been through that route, you have to figure it out on your own, right? You have to figure this whole thing out on our own. And that's why it takes us a little longer. But fuck it. I wouldn't have it any other way.
I got you.
So anyway, I left the school, went to City College for a semester because I was following my ex-girlfriend around, and then they only had jazz guitar, and I wasn't a jazz guitarist, and I was just like, God damn, I'm screwed again, you know what I'm saying? And so I went in there, but I always had the music education major as my foundation there through both colleges, because I was inspired by my music instructors back in high school. They were cool people. We would talk just like we're talking right now. Yeah. And so that was a big influence as to how I run Internal Creations now, which I'll get to. And so I did a semester at City College in 2008. And then I went and auditioned for SUNY Fredonia and SUNY Potsdam with my ex, because she was like, oh, let's go to these colleges and see, because they have music programs there. And they were renowned. And so I got denied from both of them. But then the professor of SUNY Fredonia, his name is James Pierkowski, he was like, he gave me a call, and he was like, hey, just wanted to let you know that I reversed the decision, and you're in. I want you in the program. Me and another guy who eventually became one of my best friends and my brothers, Brian. We were the competition against each other, and we both got in. We both got denied, and we both got in.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's crazy. So then I went up there. I ended up going to SUNY Fredonia. And during that time there, again, my lack of discipline and just my, my party life and all that stuff got in the way. And I almost got kicked out of the college twice by my professor, because he told me, he was like, if you're not going to take this serious, then I suggest choosing your major, And this is the second time that he told me he was going to kick me out. And then he was like, you better switch your major. And then at that moment, something smacked me in the face. I was thinking about everything that I sucked at, which was everything except the guitar. And that right there, after a few whiskey shots and a few beers, I was like, you know what, let me put my discipline into my practicing, and let me be for real about this. And when I did that, I got into the Fredonia Guitar Quartet, which is the top quartet of the guitar program. And we did a tribute to this composer, rest in peace now, named Roland Diaz in Buffalo State. And we didn't know he was in the audience. And he loved our performance so much that he wrote a piece dedicated to our quartet, because he enjoyed how we played the tribute of his music. And, he facilitated for us to go on tour in Germany and France to premiere that piece worldwide. And right there, me being a Washington Heights kid, never thought I would set foot in Europe. You know what I mean? I never thought I would ever go to that side of the world. And music took me there. And what took me there was the fact that I changed my habits and I became disciplined. I started really pushing and having goals and setting, okay, this is what I need to do every day, practicing, not just, fucking around and, doing all that stuff. And then when I went to Europe and we did the tour, and then after the tour, it was just a life changer for me. And I said, why do kids in New York City not have this opportunity? So I came back here after college, post college. I did my my student teaching because I had to do it as a requirement for school, so that way I can get certified as a teacher and all that stuff and work in the Department of Education. And I was doing that and also working as a busboy in the evenings at a restaurant, and being humiliated and told that I wasn't shit. And then after that, I pretty much left the restaurant industry, and I started working with nonprofits, and that's where I met Y. So I started working when I was in Three Man Ill. Actually, I was in this band called Three Man Ill because they were all Fredonia heads, and we started Three Man Ill. And through Three Man Ill, I met Y. Y was working for some nonprofits that were doing music, and he brought me on board. And so I had this vision as to what I wanted to do with Internal Creations, right? But I didn't know it was going to be Internal Creations at that time. It was just an idea I had. And so I started doing this, was trying to do the work that I wanted to do, the way I envisioned education, guitar education for students to be. And they didn't allow me to do it. The nonprofits, they were just telling me, hey, if you want to make a living off of this, is not the place that you want that you'll be able to make a living. We need to just teach them how to do some things and then get a show. Like, it was pretty much in a nutshell, that's what they wanted. And I was like, wait a minute, why are we doing this? We're doing a bigger disservice to our students, not giving them the tools to be able to take what we teach them and then they can go on their own, Yeah. We're ill-equipping them because then once we leave, then they're like, what do we do now? And then they go right back into the same old habits, the same vicious cycle of the hood, as we know. And, I got pissed off. I really just got angry, and I was just like, you know what, fuck it. If nobody's going to give me the platform to do what I need to do, I'm just going to do it myself. And so me and my boy Moises, Moises, yeah. Moises Hernandez,
yes.
yeah. Yes. Momo Fit.
I didn't, I kept calling him Moses the whole time.
It's Moises. So you're close. You're
okay, because I thought it was Moses, honestly.
No, it's Moises, yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure you guessed that a lot too. Kind of like I get like weird nicknames for my name.
Got you.
So anyway, I was talking to him about. I was like, I think I want to form a nonprofit, and he's more in the business world with the work he does, and he kind of guided me through forming a nonprofit, through CorpNet and kind of like the opposite of LegalZoom. And I never went to school for business or anything like this or nonprofit, and then I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna start this shit. And then I just did this. I started Internal Creations. I was broke as hell because in my personal life there was a lot of things going on. I was and Moises can tell you if and when you get him on, how I was counting pretty much pennies and nickels on my kitchen table to see how I was gonna eat for the week. And he came through one day while I was doing that. And he was like, damn, dude. And so I was just like, okay, cool. So I'm doing this Internal Creations thing. And, through the School of Hard Knocks, you just kind of learn and, you network, you meet people. And you learn as you go with this experience. And thankfully, now we're 7 years strong. I finally incorporated in 2014, have our 501c3 tax exemption and everything. And, we're in 5 schools right now, going on 6, expanding one of our programs in Washington Heights, and we're going to be expanding to another 2 schools in the next year.
Dope, congrats.
Yeah, thank you, man. And I'm able to make a living off of it.
Yo,
that's my bread and butter right there, and it's crazy, man.
That's fire. That's dope.
And the Internal Creations is about developing people before anything else. The guitar is just the fun part, The reason why I say it develops leadership, self-sufficiency, and life skills is because all those things that I learned that changed my life when I put my practice into, practicing and how it took me to Europe and all these things, bro, there's nothing like the 3 Ps that we call it: patience, persistence, and perseverance. With those 3 key life skills, obviously there's more to it, but with those 3, you could do anything. It has nothing to do with just guitar. It does everything in the life. We have to be patient with ourselves. We have to be patient with the process. Some of us are very eager to just one day to the next see results, and it doesn't work like that. It takes time, just like a tree takes time to grow, to have a powerful trunk and its leaves and bear the fruit. Same thing as flowers. Anything that grows takes a while, and you have to nurture it. So the persistence comes in. You have to water the seed. You have to give it sunlight every day. You can't just, once a month, because that's just going to die. And then, the perseverance part is just knowing that it's going to be a tough road. But you're going to be steadfast to that idea. And you're just going to do it no matter what it is. And Internal Creations is about that. And as one of our good friends, Alice Garfield, said, we're creating conscious kids that make for better people. And that's what Internal Creations is. And, I live that by modeling that. And it gives me an accountability factor because if I'm going to teach it, I have to live it. So that's what I got to do every single day, both musically, entrepreneurially, if that's even a word, and anything that I do, anything. So you want a detail?
I'm just gonna shake your hand. I'm gonna shake your hand. That was an amazing story. Like, that was amazing. Like,
I appreciate it, bro.
like, I like I said, this is the first time I've heard about this. I know about
Really?
the organization. I just didn't. Like I said, bro. Like,
I thought I said this before.
nah. This is the first time I heard it.
Oh, shit.
That's why I'm sitting here like,
Yeah, man, that's the road that I came from, you know. So all those ass whoopings from my father actually came through later on. So
it's like shit. Okay, like it's funny because now I'm looking at what I have on my book and I'm like, tell us some of your worst and best experiences within doing music. And I mean, we got some, but let's see if you can get even more when doing Internal Creation. So your musical experience of you and then the program itself.
So you're saying worst experiences?
Like, I want one, let's start on a bad note and then get on the good note.
Okay,
So
cool.
worst and then go to the best.
So let's start with Internal Creations. Just because like that's pretty much the bread and butter. It works hand in hand with what I do musically. The worst experiences are when you are contracted to do work, and those contractors, whether it be government or private foundations or school entities, city agencies, anything like that, and then they don't pay up at a proper time. It really bugs me because I understand that there's a process to things, but I feel that when somebody really wants to get something done, they get it done. You feel me?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times with, independent contractors or to organizations, people like to pussyfoot a lot. People like to forget conveniently that you exist and that things have to get done, or et cetera, because they're not the ones being affected. They're still going home and getting paid bi-weekly every Friday or Thursday, whatever the fuck it is. And then when you're calling on them to hold them accountable for, hey, why is this taking 6 months to be processed? We need to pay our instructors. We need to be able to provide these services efficiently. We need to also live. We need to, pay our bills. And you think it's okay to spend 6 months to a year not paying us because the process, it's bullshit. I feel it's bullshit. And this comes down to not just Internal Creations, it's also as a musician. This is like my biggest grievance and my biggest, thing that pisses me off. I hold people accountable as I hold myself accountable. You know what I'm saying? People need to do their jobs, whether you like it or you don't, because other people's lives depend on what you do, no matter what it is that you're doing. If you work in payroll, make sure you're doing payroll and you're doing it all efficiently. Stop being on Facebook. Stop being on Instagram. Stop being on TikTok while you're supposed to be working. Do that during your lunch break. I understand we get distracted. Sometimes we're not feeling it, but et cetera, et cetera. But you know what? As a person who has to build a nonprofit from the ground up, and I have to hold myself accountable to make sure that my people are good every single day of my life, because nobody's giving me the money. I have to go and find that. I have to go apply for that. I have to go and fight for that money. Because I'm not just getting a paycheck here every week. I'm not. If the organization doesn't have the money, we're not eating, and so that responsibility is on my shoulders. So if I have to hustle every single day to make sure that our organization is fine, that we're doing the right thing for our kids and for our instructors, everybody else, no matter if you're building something from the ground up as an entrepreneur or if you're working under somebody else, which is totally fine as well, be accountable, do the right thing, and just get your fucking work done. Like, that's the biggest thing. This should not be no excuse as to why things take forever to be processed. I understand things get backed up. Granted, we're humans, life happens, sometimes it gets overwhelming. I understand that. But put your best foot forward every single day. You know what I'm saying? That's what separates. That's what's gonna get us out this vicious cycle of bullshit that we're living in. You know, that's one of the things. And if people are paid and they're happy and they have food in their stomachs and roof over their head, you're gonna be fine. Everybody's gonna be fine. Problems begin when money starts drying up, right? And then people are like, "Oh my God, I can't pay the rent. I can't pay the," you know what I'm saying? And then people get mad. People turn to suicide. People turn to fucking beating their kids. You know, all this stuff that the ramifications of all that. Think beyond yourself. That's, you know, and again, this works both as French Creations and as a musician. Think beyond yourself. And in this world right now, everybody's being a little too selfish. It's okay to be selfish, but a little too selfish where, you know, you're out there and you're not wearing a mask in the train and you're standing right in their face. Just because you don't give a fuck about the mask, you at least think about the other people. Just be courteous. Just be mindful of this shit. Like, whatever, you can believe whatever you want, but it's not about you, bro. It's about everybody around you. You know? And then that's what makes people want to fight each other. Because you're disrespecting. Don't disrespect. You feel me? And so that's the thing. You disrespect, you're going to get your ass beat. Literally, just that's what it comes down to.
I love how intense this got. So I slowly got intense.
Nah, dude, because it pisses me off, man.
That's
Take
a breath.
It is, yeah.
Take a breath.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. I love it. I love it.
Woosah.
I love it. Let's talk about some of your best experiences
Word.
doing music and internal
Man,
creations now.
Well, you know, dude, the best thing about the work that we do and why all these struggles are worth it, you know, because without struggle, there is no progress, right? That's Frederick Douglass's quote, and I hold truly to that. And, you know, we do need these negative things in order to see the positive things. And those positive things are when we do our work and we do it really well. And you have a student who didn't know how to even hold a guitar in September, being able to play with an entire guitar orchestra and by themselves, you know, playing pieces on their own, like really well. Not like I did when I was auditioning on an electric guitar. And within pretty much, you know, our programs are only held twice a week for a total of 4 hours a week. And if you condense all the months, all the total amount of time we're together is about 4 months. And then they're able to read music. They're able to play together, play solo music. They're able to do ear training, music theory, all these things by the end of the first year, whatever will be considered the first year. And seeing that light bulb that goes off in the student's head, and then when they get that confidence, they're like, "Shit, I did this, I got it." When they put 3 Ps into practice, you know, at first they're like, "Ah, crap, I can't get it," you know, I'm gonna give up. No, you don't give up. Keep pushing. Keep doing this. Attack the problem from different angles. Don't just go one way and crashing into the wall. If it's not working this way, try this way. If it's not working that way, try the other way. And then when they apply that, and then they finally get that chord, or they finally get that passage in the music that they couldn't get, when they finally do the concert and they play really well together, and they're so happy and they're ecstatic and they're just like, "Oh my God, this is great," and then they start taking that and doing their own thing, dude, there's no better feeling than that, because all we did was give them the tools. Like I said before, we gave them the hammer and the nail and the blueprint as to how to build that house, and now they're building their own houses. They don't need us. The whole goal is that they never need us ever again. And musically, doing the same exact thing. When people hear the music that we create and it resonates with them, and it heals them, and it provides that satisfaction that they're just like, "Wow, like this is what I needed to hear." There's no better feeling than that, man. There's no better feeling than all that. That's what it goes down to.
Any words? I mean, you dropped a lot of like words of wisdom, but any last words of wisdom you want to share? You want to bring up 3 Ps again? Anything? I love it.
Not off the top of the dome, no. Those, just stop. I have something bubbling. I just can't say it. I can't articulate it right now. Just don't be scared. Just don't be scared. Just do it. Literally, it sounds far-fetched and it sounds cliche, but fear is no good. Use fear to your advantage and jump off the cliff. Make those calculated, risky decisions and get out of your comfort zone. Don't be scared.
That was great, bro. So,
That's it.
all right. Tell people where they can find. Tell people where they can find you.
You can find me on OnlyFans. Let me stop. Nah, man, fuck that. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook. On Instagram, it's Jahzeel, Jahzeel Montes, Montes official. And from there, you'll be able to find the other things like Internal Creations and Salvia and all the work that I do there. Facebook, just my name, Jahzeel Montes. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, and I'm on all the platforms, but the one I mostly use is Instagram, and that kind of branches out to everything else. I'm trying to get into the TikTok thing. I suck at it right now, but that's a whole nother animal right there.
I was supposed to do that. I get yelled at about not using it.
Yeah, no. And I guess for the organization, you could just find it on our website, internalcreations.org, and that's it.
Music. All on iTunes?
Spotify, iTunes, all platforms. Our distributor puts it everywhere, so.
Got you.
So.
Ice, do you have any last words you want to say?
Later on down the line, we definitely got to bring you back for a part 2. Like that.
Thank you, man.
Jam session, man.
Yeah,
We got to do the
yeah,
short
yeah,
season
absolutely.
super jam session.
There you go.
Uh,
I appreciate that.
This is going to be hard for me to say next, but I would usually say I used to sing something, but I don't want to hear shit from you. Today.
I didn't want to say the last thing. Yo, this is his episode. We gonna hear him sing.
I
This
know,
ain't about
but
me,
he
eh?
gets a whole performance. But you never know. He might be inspired. Hey, you know what? Don't worry about it.
No.
We're not. I'm not even making no jokes about you not singing this time. Take it. Just take it where we at right now. Just accept it where we at, and let me do the closing.
Just close out.
All right. So you know what? Tell them where they can find you,
can
and
find me-
not you singing. Just go.
Be nice, Dwayne. Be nice.
Fine.
For not much longer, you will not be able to find me on this podcast. But you know what? We'll get to that later. But as for now, you can always find me on Instagram once again at Ice Raheem Music. That's Ice_Raheem_music. I'm actually going to take the music out pretty soon, but I have my reason for that, which we'll get into later. And how about you, Doogie?
You can find me on the IG at DOOGIFRANCHISE. And you can also follow at It's Show Off Season. And this is a great ass story. So I'm really like, we just had a fucking movie told. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for next week, for you will get a nice performance episode from Jahzeel. So on that note, goodbye and good night.